Welcome back. So here I am. This is Norwich Hills in our little area here. We have Clearwater, Trinity Point, Norwich Hills. Norwich Hills is where all the natural resources are if you want to build a great work. There is nothing in these two towns except water and beautiful locations. They're going to be my two tourist towns. But what I wanted to show here is Norwich Hills first. So obviously this place is where all the oil, ore and coal is. I'm just checking the time. I want to make this video about 30 minutes. And where I am here at the moment, it is 4 minutes past 2 o'clock in the morning, and it is the 7th of December. We're getting to the closing stages of 2016, which will be a memorable year for me. I turned 50, David Bowie died, Britain decided to leave Europe, America decided to elect you-know-who, so it's been a strange year. Prince died, Leonard Cohen, and some pretty well-known actors that I can't recollect at this moment. Anyway, back to business here. What I wanted to say about this is that when I was in the other town, this one over here, I built a bus terminal, and that was one of the first things I did. Bus terminal is this big one. So I had to go to the town hall and install the transportation wing on the town hall, and then I installed this. And the reason I did that is because if you have that particular type of regional bus station, buses can travel around the whole region, all three towns. And so as kind of an experiment, in this town I just put some factories and a bus stop. And I didn't put any residential areas at all. I just wanted to see, would I get people coming in from the other two towns just by bus to find work here. And it worked really, really well. As soon as the factories went up, a whole convoy of buses came in, and everybody got off the buses and they started working in the factories. And I thought, well, that's pretty cool, because if you can get a town like this one, which is pumping oil here in this oil well, if you can get a town pumping oil and exporting it as quickly as possible, but you don't have lots of people to look after, it really it saves you all kinds of hassle and expenses. And so that's what I did here. If you look at my population, it's only 396, and yet everything seems to be working. Everything seems to be working. I even put a few shops at the back here and a little casino, and that's working swimmingly. So the reason that this is working is that there isn't anything else in the town, and all the buses, they're driving through the other two towns, and they are delivering people here, and also other people are driving here by car. As I say that, I don't see any. I'm trying to find a bus to show you. I don't see any buses now. They tend to come kind of like in real life. You don't see any, and then you see three in a row. the other thing I'm doing here is I'm buying the electricity from the neighboring towns. I'm not buying the water, I have something there. And I'm sending the sewage also to the neighboring towns. So if you look here, I've kind of tried to cut as many expenses as possible. I don't see any buses. Let me just check to see. I wonder why they've stopped coming. Let me speed it up a little bit. The only mistake I made here is that really I should have... there we go. There's one bus, and like I said, there's two buses. They kind of come at the one time. That one's going straight back. Why are you doing that? And there's lots of people at this bus stop. Oh, don't go. Why did you do that? You got 68 passengers waiting here. Here's another bus. I hope that's going to pick up these people. Yeah. Excellent. I would assume that those people are working in these shops and now they're going home, because there isn't really, like I said, there's hardly any population here. So in order to run all these businesses and factories, everybody's been shipped in. They're either driving in or they've been bussed in. But I just wanted to say that that's been quite a success. Probably the biggest success I've had over the last couple of days in terms of making money here. If I go to the trade map, let me just speed it up a bit again, and let me do that once more. If I go to the trade map, you can see that again, another great advantage of keeping a population as small as you can. And maybe it was a mistake for me to upgrade these roads at all, because if you've got dirt roads, there's all the buses coming now. If you've got dirt roads, you have even less traffic. But anyway, at the moment it's not too bad for traffic, which means that the oil can be taken from the trade depot pretty quickly. Here comes the oil truck. I mean, it is getting a little bit busy, so I'm trying very hard to keep this number down. You can see that truck just came and went, no problem. And that's what you need to do, really, if you're planning on earning money from these types of things. Or if you want to build a great work, you need to try and do it early in the game rather than later. It's not a good idea to do it when you've got a population of a couple of 100,000. So there's lots and lots of advantages for keeping things simple and not too busy. And like I say, I've tried many other games over the last few days, many other towns, trying to find ways to earn money, to bail towns out basically, and to try and ship money to build fancy casinos and stuff. And I was having lots of trouble because of all the expenses already within the other towns that had to be looked after. And I'm just very pleased that here, with 396 people and just one oil well, and if I show you the oil here, it's like, you know, there's a lot of oil here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put another oil well here, here, and here. And probably start, actually I won't do that yet, because I'm planning on making building the airport, international airport, and that needs oil, so I'm going to keep one of these things to help with that project. But again, just to say, you don't always need a big population, hundreds of, you don't need like two or 300,000 people to make money. Just with this one little gambling house and this one oil well, I'm making a fortune here, and I'm keeping an eye on all these things. And this is the beauty of it, I guess, because you've got no expenses. I've got this one little school, that's all, just that, and that's got one bus, I think. I don't even have any add-ons onto it. There's no extensions, it's just the main building, which can hold 150 students, and right now that's enough. I do have a police station here. I decided that was important because I'm kind of obsessed about the crime situation, as anybody who's been watching these videos is aware. So I had to put that in. Once I put the casino and some shops, I thought I've got to put that in, and that's doing its business. I also put this in because I was just having all kinds of health problems, but that's quite cheap. And I don't have a fire station, so that's whenever there's a fire here, the help is coming from over here. I'm sending things from this town and I'm sending things from that town, so it's the same with the rubbish. I have no garbage dump in this town. I may put one in because a garbage dump, it doesn't cost that much money to run. It's only 300, and I'd only need a pretty small garbage dump here. But at the moment I don't even have a garbage dump here. It's basically they're driving in from the other towns to pick up the garbage, and they're doing a great job because there's no garbage. You can see here I'm not spending anything on waste. I'm spending 4 simoleons on sewage. I'm not spending anything on the government. I'm not spending anything on fire, and then just pretty basic small amounts on these 2 things. And the casino is making some money. I did take a bond, but that's paid off. I shall raise the taxes just to 11. And there you go. That's it. It's very easy to keep an eye on things because everything is just here. And as you can see, the money, I'm already past the 500,000 simoleon mark. Just with this very, very small operation. You don't need to construct very complex, massive operations. And in fact, once you've got this started like this, I mean, it would be easy enough for me now to put in another 2 oil wells and maybe another trade depot, and really increase the figure of the oil going out. Or I could put in another gambling house without increasing the population. So that's what I'm looking at, because I want to try and make some money here so that I can help in the other towns, and then I want to commence work on the great work, which will be just in the middle here, which is definitely going to be the international airport. So the international airport will first start off. You need 1 million simoleons to build that, and you also need a municipal airport and 100 tourists arriving at the airport. So that's going to be fun. I don't know where I'll put the airport. I may put the airport in this town. There's quite a lot of space up here in this town. it's not just that little bit down there. You've got all this area here, so it would be possible to just put the airport there. So let's go back and have a look at the other two towns before I wrap this up. Not much to say about these two towns. They're just beginning. You can see here it's pretty much all dirt roads at the moment, but a lot bigger population than in Norwich Hills. We've got 24,000 people, but although we've got 24,000 people, we've got hardly any money. It's amazing the amount of money I'm making in the other place. I'm making absolutely nothing here because well, there isn't anything to sell here at the moment. So all I'm doing is trying to get some kind of a population going. I've got the town hall here. This was my first big purchase. This is the regional bus terminal, and this is a great idea. I'd really recommend anybody that's building a new town, try and get this thing up and running as quick as you can, because it really does help the flow of people from one town to the next. And if you're going to be dealing in tourism, you really need these, because they will take people from one place to the next. It is even probably possible that you could build quite a decent population here, and that over here, this is the other town, Trinity Point, you could probably over here just start developing some small casinos and some shops. And again, you could probably keep away from the residential over here, and you could try and bus people across. And then if you're successful with the small casinos, you could probably do some more. You could put in some tourist attractions, and you may be able to get things taking off there without a big population, because the more people you have, of course, the more trouble they are to look after. As an example of that, for instance, here I'm trying to teach everybody, if I speed this up, it is, well, this must be yesterday's figures. So the school, I think the school starts at about 8 a.m. and education is very important. So I've got two schools here. I've got this one and I've got this one, and I've got plenty of buses. I'm trying to get everybody educated. So yesterday it was 8:40. I'm hoping today it'll be a lot more than 8:40. I need it to be close to this figure. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll tell you what that is later. Police. Well, we've got no casinos or anything in this town, and I have 2 police stations, pretty basic police stations, with a couple of police cars. I got one there, I got one here, and already I've got a crime being committed every day, 4 criminals at large. So that's kind of disappointing when you consider that that I'm trying to educate everybody, and that I haven't even installed a casino here yet. So if that, well, it's really, the crime is just really where, normally it's just where the shops are located. the commercial zones normally is the place where you get the crime. It's not too bad. I think it should be okay. But again, you see the benefit of having a small population, because you can really keep an eye on this. I have this dump here which is doing pretty well, collecting everything. Again, it's early in the day. By the end of the day, everything will be collected. How is our education going? Well, it looks like I'm up to 8:40 already, and it's 10:30. This again is just the basic education. I would like to, and there's an awful lot of fires. I do have a fire station. I guess I'm going to have to put the bell and that, an extra. You can see just with this small little town with 24,000 people, I'm having to deal with a lot of issues already. The roads are pretty crap. They're only the dirt roads, and so, you know, as soon as you have somebody collecting the rubbish, that's that. You got a traffic jam, and that holds up the buses and it holds up everything. So that's not moving for some reason. I guess when the school finishes, does it tell me when the school closes? 3 p.m. Why isn't it giving me the... Surely I've got more than that. Can't remember how to do this. There's a way of... Oh, it's this way, I think. There's a way to show what... there. So if I go to all the expenses here, I mean, I'm already spending quite a lot. And what I want here is the detective wing as quick as possible. I'd like to get the detectives out to be rounding up these criminals at large. So you can see with a place like that I'm going to need some money to try and keep things in check. This place is just beginning. Just very quickly going to Trinity Point. I've just got 300 people here, and after looking at the last town, I think I would like to just keep this at 318 if I could. The smaller the population, the better. I'm beginning to think that's the key. So what you do is you keep the population small, you try and generate some money somehow, and then very slowly you start putting in the casinos and the tourist attractions, and you hope that the tourists will come in from the region without having to kind of populate the place, because I mean, this is the way I like it to be here. I've got the grade school down. It can take 150 people, and all I've got is 128 students, so that's going to be no problem. I've probably got absolutely no crime, nothing at all here yet. In fact, I don't even have a police station. And nothing. Here, nothing. So if you could, get this up to about 1,000, put in a little casino, you could get it up even more, maybe 1,500 or so. And then you could just put in the basic things like one of these, maybe the garbage dump, and maybe just one fire station, one clinic, one police station. And providing you keep an eye on this figure and it doesn't go up, it is going to go up a little bit here, because I've actually got all this area mapped out, but it shouldn't be too much. Then it'll be easier to handle than my other place over here, which is starting to run into trouble already. I'm a bit worried about the Clearwater town, because the last thing I want is for an epidemic of criminals to kind of start appearing here, and then they will just move from one town to another. So I'm going to finish this episode pretty shortly. I'm going to go back into my pride and joy town at the moment. After playing this for the last 2 weeks, let's say, it's so nice to have a small space and feel pretty much totally on top of the situation here, dealing with 396 people and having this amount of money being generated and being able to just kind of have everything under complete control. Everybody's educated. There is one criminal at large, and this is why, as soon as possible, I already have the money. I really would like to get the university down and get that detective wing operational. But still, it's cool here. There's really no problems, and even though I don't have a garbage dump here, it's still being taken care of. So I'm quite tempted, probably off camera, to go back here and to quietly perhaps make this town smaller somehow. Maybe I may get rid of a couple of the roads, and I may dezone some areas and send some money over when I have enough money here. Send some over. Upgrade the school system by putting in a university straight off the bat. Keep the population small. So at the moment I've got 24,000. I think I'm gonna get rid of a lot of that. I think I'm gonna dezone large areas of it. I'm gonna get the population down to about maybe 1,000, and I think my aim will be to try and kind of keep going in what I want to do here. Build the international airport, get the university up and running, put some more casinos in without having a population explosion. Although in saying that, I realize that with the university I will need a certain amount of students if I'm going to be able to do the research to unlock the detective wing. But I'm going to speed things up for here. I'm going to, what does that mean? I don't know what I'm saying. I'm going to speed things up here, and I'm going to just keep an eye on this, sit back and relax and watch the money pour in, which I am certainly going to need in the next episode. So until then, adios.